Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, the state of California is doing something pretty interesting. At least after the holiday break, they're going to try to push a bill through the government that's going to shut down the registration of carbon dioxide emitting vehicles past the year 2040. Meaning just after 2040, you won't be able to register a brand new or maybe even a used internal combustion engine, at least emitting carbon dioxide, past the year 2040. Now I have to say one thing, not a bad move that they're giving it over 20 years to get this deal done. What they're trying to do is get the air cleanliness level down past it where it was in 1990. Now here's an interesting situation, at least as far as my mind is concerned, because I think of a lot of drag racers out there who have gotten around this over the past several years. There's a very fun event that happens here in the U.S. every year, at least for the past 10 years, put on by the group at Hot Rod Magazine. It's called Hot Rod Drag Week, where basically a lot of drag racing machines head off to a drag strip to make the quickest laps they possibly can around a drag strip, and then several more drag strips as the week progresses when you get somewhat of an average time of your lap times for every drag strip. Now the trick of this deal is you don't trailer the vehicle in and out of these different drag strips. You gotta drive them. In fact, one time was a couple of years ago, just not but 20 minutes south of Old Motor Cars HQ was a lineup of these drag machines where a lot of these vehicles look like production cars, but there is nothing on them that ever came from a factory machine. These are purpose-built race cars. And what a lot of these guys that have done, because these cars don't have a VIN number to actually get a license for, is they've actually put together a deal to actually license them in a different state than what they're living in, because there's a lot of states that allow things to go a little bit crazy as far as that's concerned. One of those states is actually California. You think of poor Jay Leno out there. Jay Leno is one of those guys that's got a lot of cars, especially you think of that one he built with General Motors, that jet vehicle that's jet propulsion powered. And yeah, that's a situation where it probably wouldn't be, well, I guarantee you couldn't actually register that in the state that Motor Cars actually is in. So it'd be an interesting deal what this whole bill could do. Are they going to actually ban everything that's already in existence, where you can't actually re-register a machine or renew a vehicle? Or is it just for brand new machines heading forward? We'll have to wait and see on a lot of these fronts, but obviously there's a lot of loopholes, and maybe a lot of people in California registering their vehicles out of state, which means that's a lot of money that California is not going to be bringing in via the old DMV. Next up on the list, sticking with somewhat of electrified vehicles, the old U.S. government is actually doing something interesting, where they're doing a brand new tax reform inside of the country. And one of these things that could be on the chopping block is the tax credit for buying an electrified vehicle. Every manufacturer over the past several years has had the opportunity of upwards of 200 tax breaks to actually sell these vehicles. Now these tax breaks actually goes to the buyer of the automobile. If you or I were interested in, let's say, the brand new Chevrolet Bolt, you could get upwards of $7,500 back from the government for buying this particular machine, which means these vehicles become somewhat very inexpensive. Now, the trick of this deal is each manufacturer gets 200,000 of these credits. And General Motors is the leader in the clubhouse when it comes to actually using a bunch of these credits, along with Toyota and Tesla, who've all used over half of those 200,000. You think of a company like Ford, who's used very little, maybe in the catbird seat coming up very soon, because they haven't used very many of them, and once their electrified vehicles come out, talking somewhere around 2020, they're going to have a lot to actually deal with over there. Now here's the deal, if this tax deal goes through and these cars become more expensive because the tax break is not there, it'll be interesting to see just where that sales numbers go, because the sales numbers has not been good for the old electric vehicles. Electric vehicles have been doing pretty good inside of the country over the past several months, but as far as hybrids and mild hybrids and the like, they've been doing exceptionally poor here as of late. So we'll have to wait and see what this deal may have in front of us as well. And last up on the list, let's talk about old McLaren, because they laid down the boom when they are showing off their brand new track day weapon. This is a vehicle that is still supposedly going to be completely road legal, but it is a weapon on the track in every way, shape, or form. McLaren has covered this car with a blanket, trying to get every little bit out of this machine. And it's got a very special name, a name that harkens back to the old Formula One days, the Brazilian driver Ayrton Senna, as this is the brand new McLaren Senna. The vehicle comes with a 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 that is the most powerful road-going engine that McLaren has ever built, making 798 horsepower and 590 pounds-feet of torque. That is shifted through a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox. This vehicle doesn't have a lot of weight to lug around. The vehicle only weighs 1,198 kilograms, or 2,641 pounds. And obviously, there isn't a whole lot of this vehicle that hasn't been covered by McLaren's group as far as the aero work's concerned. There isn't a part or piece of this car that doesn't have a specific aero job to do with this vehicle's at full force. Now, the trick is this vehicle's not going to make its official debut till the Geneva Motor Show next year, where we're going to get to hear a lot more about the machine and a lot more performance numbers and the like. But we do know this for certain. There's only 500 of these vehicles built for the world, with a starting price of around 750,000 pounds sterling, or just over $1 million US. And all 500 of the cars are already spoken for, so if you're hoping to get your grubby little mitts on this vehicle, it's already too late. So I cannot wait to hear more about the McLaren Senna, hopefully over the next several months. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. Links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.